Hi guys, together we're here with Fien. Hi Fien.
Hi guys, hi Dima.
Nice to have you here. And before I'm going to introduce Fien, I would love for you to do it yourself. Could you tell a bit about who you are, also inside of Moychay and outside of Moychay?
Well, I'm Fien and I'm working here right now for a year, I think. And yeah, I'm living in Utrecht. And what do you want to know about me?
Yeah, I got you. Well, Fien, as you can see, is a bit shy because she's also been with Moychay from basically the start, right? So a year ago, approximately, we started doing this project, and Fien was one of the first to go through tea school and to really, learn tea, accept it as a whole, right? Hopefully. Hopefully.
It was very interesting in the beginning. I didn't know how to start with it.
Yeah, actually about the theme about not knowing, Fien also didn't know about this recording as well. So this is going to be a very impromptu talk about the project and how you also saw the growth of tea basically in the Netherlands, right? Because, well, I'm a mix. I'm Dutch and Russian, right? And in Russian tea culture, tea is much more evolved already. But here in the Netherlands, it's completely not, right?
That's true.
So besides also working here for 1 year, Fien is also one of my greatest friends of all time. So that makes for a very interesting mix. And before we go any further, we've also chosen a tea, very particular tea. Could you tell a bit more about it?
Well, it's the Mihuan. It's actually kind of honey-ish tea, the taste of it. And it's an oolong and it's a ball-shaped one. And I really like it. It was one of the first that I kind of understand how this taste will change during time. So it was cool to recognize this honey taste in a normal tea.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is that basically the way of making tea like this is very different, right? That it changes and that sometimes you call teas very weirdly and differently, but this was the first one it clicked, right? That it's really like, cool, got you. So, well, of course, be drinking this tea together with our talks. And one also very interesting factor that I very much like is that this is a GABA tea as well, right? And GABA teas, as you might know, are very great for social interaction, you know, like calm kind of focus. So to open up our social interaction, to get zen, we're gonna drink this one. But could you tell me, what was the first thought that you had while we started? Like when we told you that we're gonna build a tea club, it's gonna have like all these kinds of teas, tea culture. What was your first thought?
Well, I saw his like twinkling in his eye, and that makes me also excited because I didn't really know what it means to have a tea culture here in the Netherlands. But when I saw your like belief in it, it helps me as well. So I was excited to discover it myself first.
Super cool. And then I think the first time you had an experience, like a tea experience, it was with one of our tea schools, right?
Yeah.
Could you tell how?
I was very scared.
Did it feel like a cult?
Yes, it felt like it was a kind of a dark room with all the candles, and I need to make tea for I think 7 Russian people. I was so confused, but it was an experience, I can say. It was really cool.
Yeah, well, we are all about the experiences here indeed, and yeah, I remember that time. It was also early February, I think, that kind of, so it's dark outside. It's kind of like all is new. But yeah, it's wonderful that tea can introduce you to so many new circles as well, right?
Yeah, new cultures.
And do you remember when we first opened, right? What was your impression? What were the people that came in here and like what was the reaction as well?
Well, in the beginning there were many Russian people here, which was for me very like new. Like in my normal life I don't see that much new cultures, and this was really like a bomb full of different kind of people, and they were all very interested in tea. And also when people came in and they didn't know this place, it was kind of like they opened a whole new world for themselves, and that was wonderful to see.
Right, that's also one of the things that motivates me the most, the fact that tea can just open a completely new kind of universe.
Yeah.
Because this ritual, this culture has so much depth, and I think that, well, me and you are also not very used to that as well. Because if you're living in the Netherlands, most culture you have is the cheese, the bitterball that you find on the street, right?
It's a good culture though.
It's a very good. I'm not saying about the quality. I'm just saying about how much there is. And here, there's just so much to explore and so much depth, right? But that's also regarding the difference between Asian and Western culture. It's a whole different subject, and right now we can not go too deep into that, and maybe enjoy the aroma. of the tea, if you like.
Thank you.
And I'm actually, we've not drank this tea for a long time. Could you describe how you see the aromas? So I'm actually wondering already.
I think it's kind of like a bread-ish, but also with honey. And it's very warming, really like a winter smell, I think, for me. And
Cool.
for you?
Yeah, well, the thing that you say about bread, it's pretty funny, because if what?
I don't know, I get some sides. Sorry.
I got you. Many distracting factors here in the tea club. The thing about bread, if any Russian viewers are watching, basically this is for many Russian people like borodinsky хлеб, for example, which means which means like rye bread, you know. So you can smell oatmeal cookies, and that is specifically because of the GABA that's in it. So kind of pretty mind-blowing that something like a neurotransmitter, which GABA actually is, can introduce a smell of rye bread, right? But anyway, let's drink a bit more. You know, also for a bit of a different subject, I've really noticed in this year that tea has changed me a bit as a person. Have you noticed something like that as well? For yourself, of course.
Yeah, a bit, I think. Like first I hated meditation and like the whole spiritual things, and right now I'm learning to get open for that and see what other people think about it before I have an opinion, I think.
Would you say that tea can make you more open-minded, or?
Yeah,
is it?
definitely.
Yeah, because I've also felt that.
And tea, but also the people who you're with when you're drinking tea, I think.
Yeah, and a fun thing about this is in Asian culture, whenever you're in a tea house, you cannot talk about anything that's polarizing, anything that can provoke any aggression, for example, that is out of the picture. So actually you could say, wait, that's counter open-minded?
Indeed.
But I think it can actually provoke many positive and nice conversations. But let me actually pose another question, because we're sitting here, right? I'm 20, you're just 18, and that's very controversial, you could say, because the main like people that you see drinking tea are seen as or women in like in the 50s,
Yeah,
right? Or Asian old guys with a beard like this. So, what do you think pushed us into tea?
What? Sorry.
What do you think pushed us into tea?
Well, you had like a thing for tea a very long time ago, and for me it's just the new culture things, I think, that pushed me into tea, because it is also an opening for like getting to know the Chinese culture, for instance, which is something I was firstly kind of scared of because you only see it on the news with all the more bad parts of it, and now tea shows me different sides and views.
So it's actually quite interesting because you didn't say, oh yeah, the aroma, or oh the taste, you know, but that's beautiful because you don't have to be in tea for just only the tea aspect of it. And I think that's incredible.
Yeah. I think for me the interest in the aroma and the taste came way later than the interest for culture, because in the beginning when they asked me how would you describe the taste or the aroma, I just only could say tea and not really any specific flavor. It only came later when I tried to understand the teas.
Yeah, that's actually so interesting that you mentioned that, because for me, for example, I could sit there and just, you know, almost meditate, saying different things like, oh yeah, this is like sugar plum, or like, you would be like, what are you talking about?
Tea.
But that also makes you think, well, for me, of course, I started out as well, like this is just tea, but then it makes you understand how much there is to develop about your senses, right?
Yeah.
Many people go through their lives thinking like, oh yeah, I know everything, my senses are great, but then you understand that even something like smell, something you use every day, still can be so much more developed, right?
Yes, indeed.
So tea develops you in many different forms.
Wow.
Wow, incredible. So I'm gonna give you the smaller cup.
Thank you.
So it's more like this, you know, get more aroma. And I would want to say cheers.
Cheers.
Which you don't say traditionally in Chinese culture. Okay. Right now we'll do that. So Fien, it's very interesting also talking to you about your insights. And what is the most surprising thing that you've seen in this year of tea culture development?
I think the people that came in here are so surprising. They're from all over the place and different interests, different like how they live, how they work, what they do. It's very interesting. That's really surprising. Like a few weeks ago, there was a man with kind of a robot-ish bird, and he came in here and told me about it when we were making tea, and then he showed how he started with tea, and it's very interesting.
So like completely random people come in here, and then still there's one thing that unites them. They're just all excited about tea generally. Yeah, I've also noticed that, of course. It's something that can draw technical people, for example, but also artistic people.
Yeah.
As an example of that, for example, there was a ceremony like a couple of weeks ago, actually 1 week ago, which was done at a quantum event, right? So something completely technical, but still you could use tea to get those people out of their rational minds. And for very artistic people, it could be something that boosts them into their creativity. Would you say you're more in the rational or creative skill?
Oh, I don't know.
I think I know the answer.
Yeah, you know, what do you think?
I would absolutely say you're more in the creative, you know, floating away.
Okay, maybe that's true.
That's perfect, right? And it's exactly what you can meditate to inside of the tea world. Cool. Is there anything that you would like to say or bring out into the world? It can be about tea, it can be about the lessons you've learned while meditating into a teacup.
Well, I think I would say everything that you don't like in the beginning, try to discover why, and if you see that, then maybe you'll see things that you do like. I think that's the most important thing. If you like, for instance, interested in tea or in a culture, then see what parts are very like something different than you normally do or like, and then maybe you will see something new.
Thank you so much. I really do agree with that, and it's really cool that you're already thinking that way also at your 18 years old, if I may say, right? Because I am 20. But that's amazing. Thank you for leaving us with that beautiful message, and I sure hope that we get to see more of Fien in the near future on the YouTube channel of Moychay. And if you like this, I'm so sorry, but if you like this, I would consider subscribing or maybe leaving a like, because I'm sure that would make Fien extremely happy.
Of course.
Extremely. And if you like this, also you can check out our Instagram, and we host many events, and you can always come by offline at our Tea Culture Club to talk with us. If you have any questions about the life philosophy of Fien, I have a lot of questions. I'm very happy I can ask them every day. Then definitely visit us at the Rozengracht 92H. For now, thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
Namaste.
All right.